Hello, this is Mirjal, and we are continuing on with our battle system tutorial. Last time we created a battle manager script, and we're going to pick up right from there. If you remember uh, what we did last time, we queued our battlers, and then we looked into that queue, and if that queue was not empty, and the battle manager was on idle state, we took the current battler and we changed the state to choose action. And so we are going to be implementing what we do here. Sorry, that's leftover. Pretend you didn't see that, but that's what's going to happen in a few seconds. What we need to do, first of all, is to go to Unity, create a new C# script called combat turn. What this will do is this script will handle will only hold the information for a combat turn, and this won't actually need to be a mono behavior, so this will be a plain old C# class. And then what this needs is a action name. So the name of the action that is going to happen this turn, it needs a battler, actor. So this is who is acting, and it needs a battler target. And this will be who the target for that action is. We can also give this a constructor, and this constructor will take an action name and a battler. And if you're familiar with other programming languages, you know what a constructor is. It's what you call when you try to create a new instance of a class. However, if you only use Unity, you might not be familiar with them, because in Unity you don't really deal a lot with objects constructors. So what this constructor will do is simply set these variables, set initial values for them, and we will leave the target empty for now, and this will be set later. Obviously, this action name, instead of holding only the action name, this combat turn later on will hold an action object, a reference to that object, so that we can implement the action logic in another class where it makes sense. For now, we will include the logic here, because we're going to move on with as simple as possible. And we can close this. Now we are ready to choose action. So in this method, we're going to, what we would need to do is to have an action list that the player can, or the enemy can, choose from, and then select a random action. But for now, let's pretend that every battler has an action called attack, and they can only choose attack action, and they can't choose anything else. So we created our combat turn, but we need something to do with that combat turn. And what we're going to do is to create a private or protected variable here, called current turn, and we're going to set this current turn to the new combat turn. And as you can see, we included the action name and the actor for the current turn, but we still haven't set the target for our current turn. So we will move our state to turn state, choose target. And inside of choose target, what we want to do is to, if we are a player character, we want to attack a random enemy. If you're an enemy character, we want to attack a random hero. And now we are faced with the first time we need to differentiate between these two. And since we are going to do this anyways at some point, we might as well do it now. Let's create two new C# scripts. One of them is going to be called Hero Battler, and the other one is going to be called Enemy Battler. So with these, we want to inherit from Battler. This will make sure that all of the logic we have here is going to be the same for our enemy battlers, for example. And again, it's going to say that the start method is hiding the base method, so you might want to override or something like that. So it's going to warn you if you have methods with the same name, because the child object will take preference, and so you'll be hiding the logic here if you don't be careful. So here we want our enemy battler and let's first prepare the hero battler as well. So this is going to be a battler, this is going to be the same. Before we implement the choose target state, we need to know which battlers are actually in combat right now. For that, we are going to go back to our battle managers, and we are going to sorry, I didn't show you the Visual Studio script. What I did was go into the enemy battler script, changed it from mono behavior to battler, removed everything unnecessary, do the same for hero battler. So that's all I did. That's what you missed. I'm sorry about that. So what we want to do is to have a public list of battlers that are active heroes or active party, for example, and a public list of battlers called active enemies. And why these are active enemies and not all the enemies is that later on, when we actually inflict some damage and characters die, we're going to make sure that these lists are updated to reflect that, so that we don't actually target dead characters or with actions that cannot target dead characters, right? So we want to make a start method, and inside of the start method, I'm going to find these from a parent object. So you can also use object find with tag or anything. Since you are only going to do this once, it's okay to use find with tag. I'm I'm going to reference a parent object and then transform party node. This is a private variable, sorry. And the same for the enemy node. That's fine. So what we want to do in the start method is to, for each hero battler, hero in party node, get components and children called the components of type battler. And for each of those, you want to include them, add them to the hero party, right? We don't need these. And similarly, enemy battler, enemy in party node, sorry, enemy node, get components and children, enemy battler, acto enemies.add enemy. So with this, we have our active enemies and heroes at the start of the combat, ready to go for target selection. So we move on to our enemy battler and override choose target, and this will autofill for you. So what you want to do is protected override void. And it will also include this base.choose target. This will make sure that if you implemented anything in this method inside of the parent class, it will include everything here. Currently it's empty, but it's useful to leave here in case we want to implement something there. What you want to do is current turn dot target equals random dot range. Let's say war target random dot range target index. Sorry, from battle manager instance active enemies dot count from 0 to there. This will be random dot ranges inclusive on the minimum, exclusive on the maximum. So this will give us a valid index, and we can say current turn dot target is equal to battle manager instance active enemies dot target index. Yeah, let's just name this int. There is no need to make it anonymous. We're going to do the exact same thing on the hero battler. The only difference is going to be, instead of targeting a random enemy, we are going to target a random. Sorry, now that I realized this is going to be active party, and we're going to target an enemy here. Wow, okay. When you say things out loud and they just do not make sense, yeah. It's weird, it's awkward when that happens. Is there something missing here? Random.range 0 instant active enemies.count. And then we want the current turn target equals battle manager instance active enemies target index. With that, we have random targeting on our enemies. We can and our heroes, and then what we can do here is to change the state every time this choose target happens, because it only happens in a single frame, so everything will be handled in the child function, child classes, sorry. We can actually go back to our queued state, because we're going to be queuing this current turn as a we're going to still be waiting for the battle manager to start our action, and we're going to do the waiting on the queued state. So let's go to the battle manager here. We need another queue for combat turns, and this is going to be action queue, because this is for characters to start their turn, do all the actions related to their turn, like choosing and stuff, and this will actually matter when we are implementing our players, for example. However, this will be only logically holding the actions so that the actions happen in order if two actions try to occur at the same time. This is especially useful, for example, if our player is choosing an action while the enemy is waiting to act or something like that. Combat turn, current turn equals action queue dot dequeue. So very similar to above. And what we want to do is give the current turn actor, because we don't actually know the current battler here, right? This could be anyone. And we want their state to now be acting. With that, I think this much is fine for one part. Again, the combat system is very heavy, so this will take a little time to actually shape up, but when it does, it'll be amazing. So look forward to that, and see you next time.